Hello, people. Welcome to episode number 16 of Thors-Kin Podcast. I'm Alex. Alongside me is my glamorous co-host, Jimmy. Say hello.
I am ever so glamorous. I always make an effort.
We do apologise for being away for the last week. We had a week off, but we're back. Guess who's back? Back again. It was a load of bollocks, really, the reason we were off. I wasn't very well. I had a problem with my testicles, and they're better now. So
I'm glad your testicles are better. Yeah. I'm surprised you've come on and said that. You know, this lives on forever, right?
Well, the thing is, right? Originally, when this first happened to me, I didn't want to talk to about anyone, but I was really awkward about talking about it, and the more I talk about it, and the more you know what I'm like. Fucking hell, I don't give a shit. I realised that you should be, upfront about these things and not give a fuck what people think. So, I had a problem with my bollocks. When I was younger, I had a problem, which it's a common problem, but I nearly lost them, and it nearly killed me. And then a few years later, I thought it was reoccurring. I was having real bad pains down there, and so I had to go to hospital. Turns out I just had a bog standard bacterial infection. Antibiotics, stop being a pussy, get back to work. That's all that happened,
What's going on is your wife's not giving you enough. Is that blue balls going on? That's what that is.
It's definitely not blue balls, I'll give you that one.
That's why they're feeling heavy, man. You need to empty them.
No, yeah, I mean, it was quite scary, to be honest, because what happened to me, if it happens again, I don't want to say the name of it because it's really just... There is a big name for it. My wife actually learned it, but the common name for it is called twisted testicle. I fucking hate that name. It's called twisted testicle. Basically, it's what it sounds like. It twists around, clots up the blood, and kills off whatever. And if that happens, you have 6 hours. 6 hours to save your nuts. Seriously.
Shit.
So
I can just imagine you run into the hospital with the fucking your left bollock inside a bag of peas, going quick,
it's falling out.
I need lefty. But no, I'm glad you're all better. I do get worried about when you're not well because you are a sensitive little pooch.
Fuck you. Tell you what, though, it was the most awkward conversation to have with a manager 3 hours before you're about to go in for a night shift. Hi there. I'm sorry I can't come in. My balls hurt. Yeah, it wasn't brilliant. I'm not gonna lie. And people asking me, taking the piss, kind of, lovingly, I suppose. How are you nuts, Alex? I've got colleagues and stuff, and I'm just like, do you want to see? I was about to show you how they are. They're fine. Yeah. But yeah, the backlash of that is obviously I went back to work. I went back to work. I wasn't quite right, to be honest. I mean, let me just explain to you. This pain was so bad, I was doubled up. Imagine having someone have a tight grip of your left nut, and then every sort of 10 minutes or so, they just tighten that grip. It was really painful. I was doubled up with it. So, yeah, it wasn't pleasant at all. So,
yeah. I'm glad you're back, though, because we can get back to it, because last week I was itching to get in here and start recording, because there's so much been going on. But no, we've got an awesome show lineup. So we've got We've got Justice League, which we're going to go, excuse the pun, balls deep on. We've got all of the Star Wars, Disney, EA fiasco that's going on to go in up.
Which is a load of bollocks.
It's a load of bollocks. The Punisher. Yes. We've got our Dickheads and Heroes of the Week. We've got some up-and-coming films and a main event, which you've probably seen on Facebook. We've got two very speedy people.
Yeah, Superman,
so stay tuned.
And the Flash. Yeah, well, I can't wait for that. That's going to be good. So, how have you been? We talked a lot about me and my nuts. How have you been, sir?
My nuts have been absolutely fantastic. I've been taking good care of them.
Good.
Making sure that, they're orientated the right way around and I'm not having to run to the hospital with them on a bag of peas. But no, it's been a good week. What you were saying at the start of the podcast, sometimes it is good to take a week off. I get that it was an unavoidable thing anyway, but it allows you sometimes to come back refreshed and collect your thoughts. Sometimes you're not rushing around thinking, oh shit, there's something that happened yesterday, let's get that down and research and stuff like that. You can take a week to see how things how they play out sometimes, and then you can go deeper into it. So yeah, I've enjoyed just chilling out and particularly like all the Star Wars and EA stuff, because that's been playing out day by day. So coming and talking about it like essentially late, but at the same time it means you can actually have the full story on it. It's always a good thing. So but no, it's outside of that, it's just been a bog standard. My life is just very I live for a Sunday recording, Al. I'm not gonna lie. It's just wake up, go to work, come back, and just sit there twiddling my thumbs until Sunday. So my week has been my week. It is what it is.
I've had a busy week, but it's been kind of mundane busy, looking after the little one. Oh, mind you, I had an audition. I can't talk much about it, but I had an audition for the work I was doing at the prison before. They got another production coming up. It's called Twisted Fairy Tales. I'm going to see if they want me to talk about the show. I might even try and get one of the directors on the show. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
That show.
That would be cool.
So I auditioned for one of the parts for that, which was a good fun day actually. We spent about 3 hours with them people. They're great people. I love them. So so let's get into it then, bitch. Justice League. Oh my god, I've been waiting I've been waiting all my life for a Justice League movie, and it's finally here. It was a bit of anticlimactic, but I'm still happy.
You're still happy, yeah. I'm exactly the same. Like, I don't know whether you want to go like broad overview straight away, or do you want to like go deep from start to finish? I think we should go detailed. Little bit spoiled. The thing is, this storyline is so linear that you can't really spoil it. Bad guy turns up, wants to collect boxes for power. Good guys beat bad guy. Yeah, and that's the thing. And you oversimplified it there, but at the same time, the actual overarching story was probably the best point on the film, in that they didn't try to be stupid with it. They presented it to you, and it was like, right, you know the journey, buckle down, eat your popcorn, drink your Coke, and just chill out for an hour. Where they didn't make the same mistake like they did with in Suicide Squad. I was like, okay, I'm realizing an hour and a half in, I don't actually know what these guys are doing, but that witch seems shifty as hell. But you know what I mean? Like, they didn't explain the story on that, and the more I go back and watch that, the more shit that film gets. With this, they were like, here's the story, you know the journey that we're going to go on.
Do you know what Zack Snyder did? He was like, do you know what will make this better? Cara Delevingne, and they went, do you know what? Fuck off, we're going to let Joss Whedon take over. Joss Whedon, fucking hell. Anyway.
Yeah, the actual overall story, it's very simple. There's some boxes that obviously, if you're a massive DC fan, you're going to know what they are and everything. But there's some boxes that are basically Infinity Stones for the Marvel side of things. They're that sort of parallel to the universe, I guess. And they can't fall into the wrong hands. And obviously, everyone knows the bad guy in it because it's common knowledge. So it's Steppenwolf who's trying to get hold of all of this stuff. And it's the crew coming together in an Avengers sort of way of, right, we need to like all be on a team together.
It was at the point that where like not one person could beat Steppenwolf by themselves. Not even Superman. I think Superman would have, on his own from the beginning, would have got his ass handed to him eventually.
That was one point that I've got. I'm not going to say any of my negatives to begin with, because I know this is like your bag of things, so I'm going to be all positive to begin with until I get onto like.
No, because I do have a couple of negatives myself, like, and they're always going to be negatives with this movie. My negative.
Let's not do negatives yet. Let's sell, because
okay. All right, yeah,
I want people to watch it because it deserves a watch. Yeah. So positives. My biggest positive was this is also a negative, but I'll say it in a positive way. That any scene that the Flash was in were the most watchable scenes in the entire film. The opposite is also true, but the Flash basically made his scenes, and whenever I saw him present, I was like, right, what's he going to come out with this time? we were saying this last podcast, weren't we? Like, get some comedy in. Don't take yourself too seriously. And his scenes, they didn't take himself seriously, and they were
Ezra
good
Miller
for that.
is amazing. I love that guy. He was great in the Harry Potter movie. What's it called? Fantastic Beasts. He was good in that. I mean, he had a really quiet part in that. But if you've ever seen him as a person, he is so charismatic and so full of life and happy. And I put a video up on the Thors-Kin page of someone saying to him that they'd never read Harry Potter and him having a huge tantrum. It was like an MTV skit, like, but it was brilliant, and it shows you his talents. He's a singer. He's a sexy looking motherfucker too. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think him as Flash. I love him, and I like the CW Flash as well. But I just want to explain to people it's okay to like both. You don't have to like one and not the other.
Yep.
I explained this to my wife because we watched the Flash series together, and she was like, "Yeah, but I still like Austin Grant," and I was just like, "Yeah, but you can like both together." In the comic book universe alone, there's about 6, 7, 8 versions of Flash, different speedsters and stuff. You can like both, you know?
Yeah, and like my take on that is that I only know one Flash, and that is the kind of the tall, muscular spandex suit, sort of like, "Hi, I'm Flash," kind of presented character. But it's okay to do a different version of something. How we've said this before as well with when we were on about Thor Ragnarok, the Grandmaster Korg. Like, it's okay to have different versions of a character to fit that film, because it has to be. He was brilliant. I thought Flash was absolutely fantastic in it.
From the beginning, though, the movie had me like I was kind of screeching inside. It was so good. I mean, it starts off on that rooftop with the burglar breaking out of the window on the rooftop, and he looks right, and he sees Batman just sat there on top of that water tower or whatever it is. He's just sat there, and it's almost like in homage to the 1989 Batman, because you got those two muggers on the roof, and then you see that really camp version of Batman coming down from the ceiling. Like, it's almost like, do you know, that scene is amazing, but what would happen if we could do it better? And then obviously he leans the guy and he fights the parademon, and that's very similar to which I'm going to go on about a little bit later as well, as Justice League War, which was the animated sort of version of this movie, I suppose, except it was Darkseid they were fighting in that. In the case that Batman was chasing a parademon, and Green Lantern interfered with that movie, and it was kind of, without Green Lantern, how could we do it similar? And that's what they did, and that's when.
I thought they got the imagery of Batman perfect in that, like the lighting, the color palette, like, without sounding like an artistic pretentious dick. They got like the color palette right, the smoke, the atmosphere was like, this is gonna be Batman. Like,
Ben Affleck is brilliant. I love him as Batman.
I fucking hate him. Like that first bit got me. He was right. I'm gonna save that. You explain why, and I'll go into that when we get to the negatives. Sorry, go on.
Fucking punch you in the cunt. Anyway, so yeah, that first scene got me like, it was like a child at Christmas. I was excited, all those feelings when I was a kid. So there was that, and then obviously, what happens next? You see Wonder Woman in the bank. They go to London. They break into the bank and she kicks ass. Which Wonder Woman's always amazing to watch fight, isn't she? She's pretty fucking awesome. She does that amazing thing where she catches all the bullets with her amulets. That was quite good. And then like the whole getting the Justice League together thing was great as well. Like you got Batman goes to Iceland to find Arthur Curry, which is Aquaman. That scene's brilliant. They had the music playing in the background that was on the trailer, on the radio in the background, so you can kind of relate that with the trailer. I wanted to see some fish action, though. I wanted to see him pull a shark out the water. I suppose they're saving that for Aquaman movie.
Yeah. All of that there, I felt like... I get why they had to go through it, but I felt like the first hour and a bit before they got to any real action was slow as hell.
It has to be, though, doesn't it?
Why? I don't get why it has to be like. I think they could have done. The problem with it was, and I guess this links into me and Batman and Ben Affleck, was everything revolved around Batman bringing everyone together. The problem is, I thought I'm gonna have to do it now. Sorry, I can't save it.
No, just, I
thought Ben Affleck was fucking terrible in this. Like he was the Ben Affleck meme in this film. He had no emotion whatsoever. His facial expression didn't change. He had no character. He presented no kind of like, that's his version of Batman. It was just like, okay, what if Ben Affleck didn't realise the camera was on, but he was in a Batman suit still? Like,
I think the problem is with Ben Affleck. I don't know what it is with him. I love that guy. He's been part of my life, since I was a kid, mole rats and all that shit. But anyway, look, he's not charming. He's not charming. He doesn't have that charm. Maybe 2002, when he was doing all the kind of sexiest man on the planet sort of shit. But back then, maybe, yeah. But now he's kind of getting on a bit. And I see him like in interviews and things when you've got the younger people in the cast, like Ezra and the guy that plays Cyborg and stuff. And he's kind of sat there, kind of like, you're young and annoying, And I think that's what kind of does it for me. I kind of relate to you with that one. He kind of like just sits there and bides his time. Do you know what I mean? He's not kind of joining in with the...
Yeah. And I said this to my girlfriend when I came out, because she said that before even I said it. And it's like, it's difficult because how do you be Batman when you're supposed to just be, I'm Batman? But every other character who's played him has, in their own way, been their own version of Batman, and he just seems like this empty void of, he's got a cool suit, but he seems like he felt as well like he was about 4 or 5 stone overweight to fit into the suit. Like his cheeks were bulging out the side of the mask and it looked a bit cheap at times, and it was like I just couldn't get on with him. So that first portion of the film where it was him going around joining everyone up, I just felt like as soon as Cyborg's... Okay, getting into the spoilers a bit, but as soon as Cyborg started taking over with, right, let's move the plot forward a bit, I felt like, and this might be a Tony Stark thing, but I felt like it should have been him doing it all, because he's got all the information. And he's got a bit more character to
Cyborg takes a long time, even in the comic books, to come to terms with his powers, what he can do.
Yeah.
And he's actually part of the Teen Titans originally, so that's how shows you how far he is in his development.
Yeah.
But they realised, I think, later on that Cyborg's actually really overpowered, and he deserves to be in the Justice League. What I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to show you. Obviously, but you're talking about Ben Affleck bulging out of his suit and stuff.
Yeah.
That Frank Miller Batman. This is what they have based Ben Affleck's Batman on. Let me just show you this picture.
Yeah.
Look at that. You see that?
Yeah.
He's fat. He's old. He's not fat. It's all pure muscle. It's just that he's older now, so he's holding it in a different way. So he does bulge out of his mask, and his suit does look a bit too tight. And do you know what though? He moves just as quick, and he punches even harder, and he's full of instinct. So that's why he's so fucking brutal in Batman versus Superman, because he's done caring anymore. Like, and that is canon to Batman, and it does my head in when people are like, "Oh, Batman doesn't kill." I watched 1989 Batman, and he killed at least 12 people in that movie.
Yeah.
That's Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I've got nothing against like the canon nature of it, and like, he's this take on it. That's fine. It could be what we've just said, that you can do whatever take on whatever character you want.
Yeah.
You could have fucking Batman in a fucking pink suit for all I give a shit. If you do a good job of it, you do a good job of it. But it is just the actor, not the execution of the writing. The actor in the suit, fucking put a facial expression on of some kind. Like that. Well, that is my only problem. So when he is given the first half of the film, that was my bit of the issue with it. But it kind of... Do you want to carry on with Batman from here? Because I've got a few points that would like link in a little bit from here.
We'll come back to Batman. What we'll do is we've done Ezra Miller with Flash. I mean, what did you think of him as a Flash? What did you think of him? I talked about how I felt.
I didn't like how he had like a Mass Effect helmet and Space Marine shoulder pads, but that's just that's artistic design on his suit. But him as the character, fine. I thought he needed to be the comedic sort of relief, so he did an awesome job of it.
I've explained this like earlier in the show. It's like it's a young Flash. He's just coming to terms. Like he says, like, what does he say? I've never done battle. All I've done is moved around and pushed people. You know, he's just coming to terms with what he is. So he's put that suit together. He's probably zipped in and out of labs to put the suit together and stuff. You know.
But yeah, I thought they could have explained that a little bit. But again, if you've put too much information, and this is a DC problem, they didn't space it out properly. Is that you're cramming too much stuff in then to make it make sense, but then when you don't cram it in, you're left with plot holes of why is this guy, like, the logic's there, he can just get it, no one's gonna know, but how did he get fucking stuff from NASA to stop himself burning up on re-entry? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a catch-22 when you don't plan it out. But no, he was wicked in it. I thought Cyborg was him himself. The bits that he actually had, because he wasn't in it that much, even though he was the key character to it all.
People don't know Cyborg that much, so it's like an introduction to him. So yeah, you're right.
He was great. He executed his funny moment really well, which is sort of towards the end. We don't need to ruin like the little bits, because then we're taken away from people's laughs. But yeah, he had a funny moment at the end, was pretty good. But again, and this is a problem with throughout the film, their reliance on CGI. There was one bit where he turned around and he looked to the left of the screen, and obviously that then his whole portion of his face then is CGI, and it looked 2D and flat, and it looked awful. Again, not
in retrospect, I think he looked better than what I thought he was going to. In the trailers, it looked a bit too CGI. I think it was like an early sort of prototype of what he's going to look like.
Yeah.
So it looked a bit too fluid and a bit too animated. It looked a bit too. But like when I heard him moving around and dragging his knuckles along the table and stuff like that, and how he looked and felt, I was relieved a bit. I mean, so there may be a couple of dodgy moments in Avatar and in any other movie they make. You know, it's like they're not going to get it perfect. But like I was relieved to see that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be awful.
Yeah, I think he could have done with a bit of building up as well. Of right, how did you get quite so technically advanced? To the point where you're like, you'd expect like long lost alien civilizations to have reached that point, but you were caught in a bit of an accident. Like, come on.
Okay, so on that, what about Jason Momoa? What did you think of him as Aquaman?
Again, I feel like I'm constantly doing backhanded compliments here, because everyone knows I love my Marvel, but I just want to put this out there. There's a few just like, with Transformers, especially 3, it got slated in the end for having like Optimus Prime with an American flag falling behind him. There was a few like patriotic, we need to put these shots in. They were like Justice League shots.
Yeah.
A few of those shots made me realise, hang on a minute, I completely forgot. I didn't grow up on Marvel. I grew up on DC. Like when I was a kid, I had like shampoo bottles where I had to unscrew Batman's head to get, my shampoo, and Superman's cape. I had to lift that up to get shampoo out as like, like your little kids' toys things. Yeah. And like my action figures were, again, Batman and Superman, and I'd unscrew their heads to see what was inside the action. But do you know what I mean? Like I grew up with that, and it made me realise. So I just want to put that out there that yes, I'm more into my Marvel side of things now, but I grew up with DC, so it's not a fanboying thing when I'm like throwing a negative at the end of everything. But Jason Momoa, brilliant as Aquaman. He's just a pretty awesome actor anyway. I think he just had a few cheesy one-liners. Where
I'll give you that, I suppose. I'm not going to sit here and defend everything you say, because that's the kind of common consensus, is that he's a bit bro boy. He's a bit of a bro boy, but I think I love how they went a different direction with him. Arthur Curry, I've read a lot of Aquaman, and his character is pretty fucking awesome. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not the blonde-haired, nice boy that everyone thinks he is. He's a bit conflicted, you know. He's still trying to understand his place in the world. He kind of rejects being the Prince of Atlantis at first, like, so, you know. I think, and you see a bit of that when he goes underwater, goes to Atlantis, and Mira's kind of like, oh, so you're finally accepting where, you know, your responsibilities, you know, and we're going to see more of that in the Aquaman movie. The only thing I didn't like is how they spoke underwater, kind of formed like a bubble around them, and then they started talking. I thought that was a bit strange. I would have preferred, right? I would have liked them to go a different route and do just like, you know, how imagine, say, fish talk with movements of their face and stuff, you know, sort of like dogs, you know, they reckon dogs communicate with movement and stuff. Just like not telepathic, but a kind of looking at each other, moving the face, kind of, and then like some subtitles. I would have loved that, because you see him talking in the comic books. It doesn't say they're speaking; it says they're communicating. I thought that was brilliant.
And the thing is, like, you've got Jason Momoa there. Jack Snyder could have just turned around and gone like, just speak Dothraki. Just like we'll subtitle it. No one will know. Yeah, it's just like they could have done something. That didn't really bother me.
The way he flies through the water though. Oh my god, stunning! I love that so much.
Yeah,
it's almost as good as Superman flying from the sky.
Yeah,
and I loved how strong they made him as well. He could jump and smash things around and stuff. You know, Aquaman's strong out the water as he is in the water. You know, so.
And that Wonder Woman is just Wonder Woman. She's exactly the same as the Wonder Woman films. So
we've got to cover Cavill. We've got to cover Superman, because there's a huge difference.
Man, you go first, because I've just shut all over Batman and I can't do it again straight away.
I didn't understand why they needed. I understand why they need Superman, because he's Superman, but I don't know where the train of thought was when they suddenly went, instead of fighting Steppenwolf, let's bring Superman back from the dead. I didn't understand that. Obviously, they needed him for the Justice League, and it was great they did. And it was also good the way he came back and he was confused, didn't quite understand himself, and they used Lois Lane, which is also kind of plays in with what Batman's tactics, and he's done it before in the comic books, like to use, because he's always focused on Lois Lane. Lois Lane's his go-to place for his humanity, you know. So that was good. And I think also, like, this is my thoughts, but there's a scene where Flash attacks Superman, right? They're all fighting, and Flash comes around, and Superman turns his head and watches him, and it shocks Flash, and he trips over and falls over.
Yeah.
That, for me, is one of the most iconic scenes out of the whole movie. That is perfect for me. That was done with perfection. And also, Henry Cavill, they've decided to make him, like, there's a brilliant line in there where he's like, I believe in, where Steppenwolf's like, I believe in power or something like that. But Superman's like, yes, so do I, but I believe in justice. And then he starts kicking his ass. And I was like, well, yes, that's what we needed from Superman. Yes, that's what Superman's about. Yes, he's conflicted. Yes, he's an emo bitch because of all the shit he's had to deal with. You know, the people he's saving are constantly on his back, giving him shit all the time. His missus is just, in the comic books, she loves Clark Kent and not Superman. He hasn't got his planet anymore, none of his family, none of his friends. Any fucking Krypton that comes to the planet wants to take over, so he's constantly bitching about that. Yet he still has the time to become this figure of justice, you know? And that's what Superman is about. How can that differ? How can that be any different?
By good fucking script writing and not having cheesy lines like, well, I believe in justice.
That's like one of the things you expect Superman to say. Like, you wouldn't, in a Superman movie, you expect someone to say your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, wouldn't you? Or something like that. It's kind of part of him.
This is why there's never been a good Superman film or a good Superman game or anything, though. It's just...
There has been a good Superman film, and it's Superman Returns. Okay, with Brandon Routh. It was the most amazing... I'm joking. I liked Superman.
Right. So, two parts. One, going back to the cheese... Again, going into the fanboy comments, but I've just read today that apparently Thor Ragnarok was funny as it was because apparently about 70 to 80% of the lines were completely improvised. It was natural, it felt right, and sometimes if you've got one person writing it, you can get a little bit tunnel visioned in what actually is cool and what's not. And there was a few one-liners, all the characters had them, where it was just very blockbustery Hollywood. This is what Superman should say. And the problem was, I think Cavill was really, really wooden. Like, more so than Affleck. Like, he was just boring. More so than in Batman versus Superman. Like, at least he had something going on with that. Like, this one, he just completely turned me off. I just thought he was, out of everyone, he put the most, like, he like, in his own head, like, he didn't turn up that day to work. If that makes, I don't know.
Are you okay, mate? Do you need a cuddle?
I just hated him in it. Him and Batman were
brilliant.
rubbish in it.
How can you say he was more wooden? I thought he was so. He had so much more charisma about him. He was happy. He was smiling. There's a bit at the end which, we can talk. We can talk about it because I don't know
that bit. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? This is what I'm getting at. Break the mold. Don't be the boring comic book stereotype. Write it in so that they can have some charisma. Give them the opportunity to act. Don't force them to be like, I'm standing in a wheat field hugging Lois. Like, just give them those moments, because there's a bit at the end, like, Cyborg's funny moment is joined with Superman's funny moment, and they were brilliant in it. I was like belly laughing with it.
He's just come back from the dead. She's just lost her fiancé. They can have a cuddle, James.
No.
You fucking asshole, honestly. Oh, they're not allowed to cuddle.
It was so boring, though. It was so sterile. Like, if that... Go to the bedroom and, like, fuck for a bit. That's what would happen. You don't need to put that in. But, like, you wouldn't, like... I'm just standing here all emo in a cornfield.
She's talking about how she's so happy that she's got him back and she's going to have to let him go to war. It's got to be like that. It's got to be. I'm sorry, but you can't have someone come back from the dead and be like, yeah, nice to see you. Bye. You can't.
I was sticking to my guns. He was sterile and wooden, and he did not put in a good performance. He wasn't... I don't know whether it was him in his performance or whether it was the writing opportunities for
it. I don't think the writing for this was anything special in any way, shape, or form. I'm always going to say that. Like I said, it was linear. In fact, I think the rewrites and them coming back and revisiting this was a way of making it more linear. I think there was probably bits here and bits there. And by the looks of it, like from the trailer, it showed Cyborg in his early days, like playing football, and they might have shown a bit what happened to him. There was bits of Flash as well. You know, I think they've cut all those bits out just to create a fucking straightforward story, which is what people wanted. They didn't want, and so I think they've. There's nothing special about the writing, all right, okay, and I'm always going to say that because I've got no faith in Zack Snyder. I don't like what he does to movies. Joss Whedon may be talented, but he's also a sleazebag. Well, I can't say that until he's been proven guilty because he's been caught up in this sex scandal shit. But he's good at what he does, and he got onto it late. So, I mean, they need someone with a different mindset. Someone like what they did with Thor. They were like, Thor 2 was shit. We need someone that's going to change the franchise. So what we do is we're doing in Taika Waititi, who's got an amazing mind. This is what they need to do with Justice League, and they're doing that. They're bringing in Marvel writers. They're bringing in amazing directors. They're bringing in people that will change it. You know, so this as a starting platform, because don't forget they did the Dawn of Justice, and then they went straight onto Justice League. These are the 2 first movies they're doing. Wonder Woman kind of came in between them, and they got that released. So from now on, from this moment forward, we're going to start seeing this new development of DC movies. And that as a starting point, I think is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, a point on that as well. Halfway through this film, I started to realise that just because we've got used to the Marvel model doesn't mean it has to be done that way of phase 1, 2, and 3 of individual films and then a team effort. Like, the comic world doesn't follow that. There are individual stories, there's team-ups and solo efforts throughout all of that.
Parallel stories as well.
Stuff's going on, and when you think that if you had a box set and you looked at the reasoning behind, you know, all the films A, B, C, D, E, G, and F, what, you know, all the way through G and F and G, whichever. I don't even know my alphabet now. And it's just like looking at the project as a whole of. Yeah, you had Batman versus Superman. Then you had a bit where it went on to the Justice League. And then you had a few individual stories, and then it came back together. It doesn't need to follow, like, yes, script writing wise and building a universe, maybe it helps to have the Marvel way of doing things. But it might all then eventually make sense when it's all said and done from the DC side. It's just a little bit more confusing to get there, therefore it's not quite as popular and palatable. But no, I've not got anything against that. I don't know. I just think the writing. I think the linear nature of it was actually a good thing. I just think there was a few poorly written, cheesy bits and
Zack Snyder all over.
Yeah,
and the thing is, like what I said at the beginning, can I just throw this in? Is that I would have preferred, like, I don't want them to take one of the animated movies, which DC absolutely rock at, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
DC absolutely rule the animated movies. And if you've never seen an animated movie of Batman, Superman, Batman and Superman, Justice League, and you're worried because it's a cartoon, watch one. You will be shocked. They play out like a movie. I mean, I've got my top 3 are Flashpoint, which they're going to make, which is a perfect representation of the comic book. Flashpoint is one of the most important points in any DC fans. It's in the DC world, like it's Flash going back and resetting the whole fucking universe. Could you imagine if they did that with Marvel and all of a sudden X-Men are part of the MCU? Like that's the equivalent of it. Okay,
Yeah.
So Flashpoint, then it goes Batman Year One, which Bryan Cranston out of Breaking Bad plays. Commissioner Gordon, a young Commissioner Gordon coming in, and you got a year one Batman struggling, trying to get through things. There's an amazing scene in there where he first meets Falcone and the crime. I'm going to say crime syndicate then, but you know the commission, all the corrupt people in Gotham.
Yeah.
And then it goes sort of like Justice League War, and Justice League War was brilliant. Okay, it played exactly like the comic books, and it's basically the Justice League all meeting together for the first time, and they take on Darkseid. And the way they did that movie was perfect. And I don't understand why they don't look at something that's already popular and already brilliant and go down a similar route. Why have they got to go and change the story? Do you know what I mean? That's my view. I think they should look at what they're doing at the animated movie section and take some fucking notes.
I think they kind of a bit of a problem that as well I had with this was with the DC characters. They're very, very powerful to the point where they're almost overpowered. I'm not even getting on to the end bit with Superman yet, but just in general, a problem that they integrally have and they have to deal with is that if you've got people on the level of like Captain America and people like that, they're people who, they can do some crazy shit, but they get shot, they're going to die. With the whole... That means you can stick people in real suits and have them do real things and have stuntmen. And yes, there is a lot of CGI in the Marvel side of things, so I understand that. But you can also get away with that level of, right, when do we need to start employing CGI is really... a lot lower. When you've got people doing the stuff that is going on in the DC side of things, you've only really got one option. And I felt like 90% of that film was very heavily reliant on CGI. And the way that they did it in they had like a trippy filter almost on Batman versus Superman, and they had the same thing here where it's kind of like there's this weird design to the CGI which put me off. Not always. I liked it as a whole, but it kind of was like it got very focused in on the action, and it didn't it never let you zoom out and see the bigger picture, if that made sense.
I liked the rivalry between Superman and Flash. That was good.
Yeah,
it was really good. And it does actually show you, like, before and after. Zack Snyder had it, like that scene in Russia or Kazakhstan, wherever it was. It was I think they created their own name for a country, but anyway, it was like all dark and black, and there's like lightning in the sky. But when Joss Whedon took hold of it, it was like he created that red filter because that he thought that's what it would look like inside that, where they were making all that energy and stuff, you know.
Yeah. So. Going back to Batman, though, one thing that I wanted to point out, again, fucking hell, everything comes with a backhanded compliment. I loved the fact that he got his ass handed to him, and they had a few moments of he's playing with gods here, and he is an old guy now, and he's like lifting up his suit, and he's bruised to shit, and like Wonder Woman's noticing that like he's not keeping up with us here. But then when he actually wants to be put in the action, he's awesome. I want Batman to be a little bit more, have a few more Captain America moments where he's like, this guy, like, take your liberties. Like, yes, Batman he's a bulky, heavy, slow, methodical fighter, but if you want him doing a few flips about and stuff, I'm gonna buy into it because it's Batman and he's allowed to be cool as shit. Just, like, the bits where he's actually kicking ass, like, he starts off getting his ass handed to him by one of the demons, and then a little bit later on, when it actually matters, he's like bitch slapping them all about, and it's like, that was cool. Let him be cool. like give him, again, it comes down to like the opportunities that they give the characters. Like, I get why you might want to make him appear grounded and a human, but also remember it's a film and you're trying to be entertaining. Like, let him have those cool moments.
When you see him tinkering around with his jet, because it's like you don't really see that in Batman. Like, he's tinkering around with a jet. He's clever. He's a bit like Tony Stark. He can make things. Like, so he's messing around with his troop carrier, whatever it's called. And that's what Batman's power is as well. You forget that he's a master tactician. He's very fucking clever. He's the only person that has made Darkseid back down without a bat of an eyelid. He went onto Apocalypse and he armed 500 Hellspawns, which would have blown up his home planet. And Darkseid was like, "You win," where nobody's ever done that before. And he did that with his mind. He didn't fight him hand on hand. He went and snuck to his Hellspawns and he armed them all. And he said, "If you don't let my friend go, I'm going to blow up your fucking planet, bitch." And he was like, "Okay, Darkseid." Bye. And that's what Batman adds. And I think that's going to play on a bit later on. Okay, I want to just spin this a little bit. Okay, let's move away from Justice League. Did you see the post up on Thors-Kin about, because Ben Affleck has said he's stood down from Batman now. He doesn't want to do it anymore, which may make some people happy. And
whoop, 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 whoop.
There are a list of contenders. I mean, I don't know how official these are. I think one of them isn't official because they've got Armie Hammer down here, and Armie Hammer's down to play the Green Lantern, I think. Okay, so let me okay, one word answer. Okay, we're gonna do this twice because we're gonna do this for the Batman thing and then the new DC movies.
Have you got a picture of these people's faces? If you got the post, I might need reminding of faces.
I will save this to you.
Cool.
I'll send it to you now. But yeah, there's. I mean, I don't know how I feel about Ben Affleck stepping down. I kind of think, okay, yeah, this is a great segue. I feel like he's been forced down by the bitching, whinging fans, and people that just won't. These films are they're over speculated and they're over criticized, and I think people just want these movies to fail. And okay, I've sent you. Okay, half of these you won't even know.
Oh yeah, I got it. I saw it. Okay.
Any of these that kind of.
Honestly, Jake Gyllenhaal, hands down, is the only person out of that who, one, looks the part the most, and two, he is hands down, if you've watched a lot of his recent stuff, the best actor there. Like,
I would say a younger John Hamm. I would absolutely love John Hamm in his early days to play Batman. He's got the voice. He looks, he's chiseled, but he's getting on a bit now. Like, I don't think he'd do it. And to be perfectly frank, if you get Gerard Butler to play Batman, fuck you, DC. You can have Batman back. I don't want anything to do with it.
No, I think Jake Gyllenhaal would be by far the best one there, followed by John Hamm. I mean, Gerard Butler, I like him, but as an Irishman's John McClane. And Eric Banner, Jesus Christ, I just no.
Hulk was awful, and David Boreanaz, he's not in the same caliber as these people.
No, you can't have fucking Angel from Buffy playing. No, just move forward, not backwards. But no, go on. I reckon Jake Gyllenhaal would do a good job, but I don't think he'd fit into this universe properly. I think they'd have to go with John Hamm to have any sort of like, okay, why is he all of a sudden 20 years younger?
Yeah. And as well, Negan. We need Negan, Thomas Wayne Batman. If they're going to do Flashpoint, okay, I need to point this out. Flashpoint, he goes back and changes everything, right? He changes everything by saving his mom. So Bruce Wayne dies and Thomas Wayne Batman is created because he becomes Batman. And he is fucking brutal. He runs around with two Berettas, just clipping people, don't give a fuck. Red eyes, good but evil at the same time. And the guy from... what's his name? The guy from who plays Negan. He played Thomas Wayne in Batman versus Superman. So it would fall to him to become Thomas Wayne Batman if they're doing Flashpoint, which I think would be fucking amazing. Imagine having a Negan Batman, bitch.
Yeah, that would be good. Is there anything else you want to wrap up with Justice League, though?
No, I think we've gone on about too long. All I want to do is quickly, because there are a few movies coming out. One word answers.
Oh, hang on. Are we going to do what we said before, talking about, because there is some end credit stuff?
Yeah, okay. I think we should leave the last one as, like, we leave that because I want people to be shocked when they see that. The first one, though, we can talk about, and that's Superman and he meets Flash for a race, yeah?
Yep.
And that is iconic. I mean, that's happened so many times in a DC comic book universe. And you don't know who wins. Who do you reckon would win?
Well, should we discuss that with Superhero Barfight?
Yes, we should.
This is what I'm saying. That post-credit scene, Superman had some character. He was overconfidently, all right, okay, if you think you can take me, smiling and smirking out the corner of his mouth, what's this kid all about? I mean, like, you know, when you humour a new apprentice or someone who's just started who thinks they know everything?
Yeah.
That's the kind of character that he should be. Okay, he's overpowered. Okay, one more point on the Justice League. Yes, he's overpowered, but, like, let that be part of his character. Don't let him be wooden. Now, when he came back at the end of Justice League, right, he absolutely kicked ass and he didn't break a sweat. It was like Super Saiyan 4 Goku rocked up. They did not need anyone else. They could have just gone straight to wake him up and gone, can you help us out, Clark?
But it does explain at the beginning of the movie that Steppenwolf is going to attack now because there's no Krypton on the planet to protect them.
Oh, no, I get that. I get the course of events. But it's that typical, once Superman's there, he's too over... Like, they need to find a way that isn't, do they have kryptonite or don't they? Or is he dead or not? Or how do we take him or bring him back into the team? That puts Superman in a bit of a different position than the be-all and end-all as if they're going to win or not. They need to find a clever way of that, and whether that's making the villains more powerful or finding some way of permanently nerfing Superman. They just need to find some way of sorting that balance out, because I've said this before, yes, you can write anything. Of course you can write a comic book where Batman takes out all the Justice League, but in a bar fight situation, smash. Superman's going to win against Harry.
No. There are people that could absolutely put Superman on his ass, and I think
for certain reasons. But
if they ventured down a Justice League Dark route, which I think they're going to, I think they're flirting with the idea. John Constantine can walk in with a cigarette in his mouth, coat, beard, looking half pissed, and he'll destroy Superman with a word.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, set up situations that can that can allow him to be completely like destroyed.
And see, Batman does do that in Return of the Dark Knight, and it was never really put that way in the Dawn of Justice.
But that was my last point.
Bar fight. We were talking about things we could bring for superhero bar fight, and I wanted to put Harry Potter against Superman because I thought Harry Potter would own Superman. He'd kill him. He would straight up kill him, and it's because Superman's allergic to magic. It sounds daft, but Shazam is full of magic, and he does kick the fuck out of Superman before Superman kind of gets all red and angry and beats the shit out of him. But anyway, one word answers to up and coming DC movie titles. Aquaman.
Hope they do it right. Completely up for it.
Flashpoint.
It could be the best.
Wonder Woman 2.
Probably going to be the same as number one, and I'm going to be thinking, why didn't you die? Why did you make it out like you died? You could have just jumped out the plane.
Right answer. Shazam.
Hopefully he beats the shit out of Superman in it.
He will. Deadshot.
Bit boring and... No, actually, no, not at all, because I forgot it's Will Smith. That could have a lot of character to that film if done right. That could have, yeah.
Joker and Harley Quinn.
As long as they get a proper fucking Joker, that's fine. But,
yeah. And that's it for now. They are making other movies, but that's all I wanted to bring for you for now. Is there anything else you've been watching, James, lately?
Punisher.
Punisher. Right now, look, I've only been able to watch one episode of this. I've been busy. But that first episode, I put on Facebook, it kicks like a fucking mule, and that's exactly what it does. Oh my god, it's exactly like I was bitching about this before it even came out, and I was saying it's just going to be John Wick, and to an extent, the Punisher and John Wick are very similar characters, so the comparison is quite right.
Superhero bar fight.
But there's that guy. It starts off with a guy running away. He's got to Mexico border. He thinks he's got away, and he's like, "Yes, I got away from the Punisher." And he takes like a 2-mile shot from El Paso to the Mexico border and takes the guy out. Bam! I was just like, "Wow, that's exactly what we fucking needed." We need just absolute brutality, and we saw the brutalness of it in Daredevil season 2. Yep. But yeah, I'm happy with this. I think it's going to be pretty good. I haven't watched all of it yet. I'll let you know when I have. What did you think of it?
I've only watched a few more episodes. I think I'm on like 4 or 5 or something like that. It does slow down, as does every single Marvel thing. It gets boring it for half an hour at a time at times, but it always kicks back in and gets brutal. There's certain scenes in it that are just like, I just want pure action out of it. I can't wait for a proper moment in it that is, because they all have it, executed to different levels. The Daredevil in a corridor scene. I cannot wait for as long as they do one. It's probably old news. I mean, it's been out for a while now. It's probably most people have watched it all the way through. Just we haven't quite had time yet, but no, it's by far one of the most gripping out of all of their series so far.
After one episode, I can easily say it's better than fucking Luke Cage, and it's better than Iron Fist already.
Yeah,
I don't care what else they do with it. I don't know. That's really unfair because Luke Cage started off with so much fucking sex appeal and so waka, 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 and it started really good. I really enjoyed it. It was classy, and then it just fucking jumped off a cliff. Yeah, so yeah, I like it. I think it's going to be good. I do think it's about time we had something decent from them. And also as well, did you notice that Netflix have put The Force Awakens on there as well?
What?
The Force Awakens is on Netflix now, which
So it's been taken off Sky and sent to Netflix, even though Disney are taking everything off Netflix.
I think that's a way of saying, like, I think Netflix have gone, listen to what they're saying on Thors-Kin. We've listened to it. Like, they're saying that you're not talking to us anymore, Disney. Give us something to show them that you got faith in us, and they've given them I fucking love the whole Star Wars collection on Netflix. Oh my god, you'd never get me off my fucking out my bedroom. That sounds really weird.
I don't know what I'm enjoying more at the moment, because when we were sitting watching the trailers just before Justice League, we saw episode 8, and I got legitimate butterflies. And I don't know whether I'm enjoying the return of Star Wars or the whole Marvel thing coming to an end, or the start of DC. I don't know what I'm enjoying more at the moment. I think I'm still a Star Wars boy. I think that's where my true geekdom lies.
And this is why I think that geeks as a culture, right? Us geeks, yeah? We're ruining the best era of movies we could possibly wish for. We're getting new Star Wars, we're getting Marvel, we're getting DC, we're getting everything that we always fucking dreamt of, right? And all people are doing is whinging and moaning and making people backpedal, you know? Let them fucking make this shit. Like, I get that Warner Brothers is a reactive company and they will make the changes that people want, but at the same time, just lighten up and enjoy it. Enjoy your Star Wars, enjoy your Marvel, enjoy your DC. You can enjoy it all together, you know. Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I don't care what the reviews say. I don't care what people say. I absolutely love Justice League. I love, I love Force Awakens. I didn't understand the hate that film got. I thought
I honestly I didn't hear any hate, whether that was just I was tuned into the things that were biasly positive or whatever. Maybe it was apparently a shit film and I just thought it was great. I loved it, and I only ever spoke to people who loved it. I really don't get any problems with what they're doing with Star Wars, with what they're doing with the stories. You know, you by opening up this new avenue where everything's not the numbered main line titles, you've got the Old Republic, you could do the Clone Wars, you could do films like Rogue One that are in between each film.
Boba Fett, you could do a Boba
Fett. Oh, you could do. Can you imagine did you ever play the Bounty Hunter game?
Yeah, I fucking love
Bounty Hunter film. You could do so much with it. But do you want to? I've seen as we're on the subject of Star Wars. You know what we were on about before with
perfect segue. See,
yeah,
I'm a fucking genius at this. I don't even know it. Like, yeah.
So I've being off. I didn't quite have time to. I wanted to do a DLC episode of this for you guys. I wanted to do my own fucking Jim's bitching corner and just take over Alex's playlist, but I didn't have a chance to, so I'm going to have to rant about it now. I've already talked a lot about Star Wars and Battlefront and EA. We've had a little bit about microtransactions. We've done this a little bit to death, but I kind of wanted to go in and just wrap all this up. So there's been a lot of backlash with the new Battlefront
backlash
game.
Is oh god, I'll tell you what,
it's not even if you could see the video on this, I've been attacked by a dog.
Yeah,
hello dog. So
she really wants to lick you. He really wants to lick your face.
I know.
I do too.
The things that you have to put up with for fame and fortune. Yeah. So there's been loads of backlash with EA. Basically, they have been, because of microtransactions, they've been review bombed to shit. Like, never before has a game got such low user reviews. It's got like 7.5's Metacritic from actual reviewers. It's got 0.8 the last time I checked on user reviews. Now that is like as low as low. Like, there are because it's averages, it's just getting people annihilate it. And as a result, basically, it's sold 60% less copies than the first Battlefront, and basically there's been that much public backlash over it that EA have now reverted into this meme machine of on the internet of they're straight back to their pre-2013 this console generation viewpoint of that they're this money hungry, horrible, anti-consumer company when they've done 5 years of building themselves up and getting such goodwill from people of having EA access and all this cool stuff and everything, and they've just literally shot themselves in the foot over it. And Disney have been on the phone basically and said, look, sort your shit out. And yeah, they've had to do U-turns on all the microtransactions. They've pulled them from the stores. They've had to change the way that they're implemented into the games, all sorts of stuff. And what it's going to end up leading on to, it hasn't happened yet, but mark my words, they're going to lose everything. They're going to lose their licenses because so far they have the licenses to produce Star Wars video games. It's with them.
And you know what? It's really ironic because the way I see it is, right, I'm always good with my fucking metaphors. Okay, so Battlefront 1, if they've created a Death Star, it's going to take over the world and make us rich, and then it gets blown to shit. And then for Battlefront 2, they created a new Death Star, it's going to take over the world and gets blown to shit. Disney are going to come in with their big dick, buy it, and they're going to create Battlefront 2, and they're going to create the big Death Star. It's going to go shit again. It's just great. Like, that's the perfect meme for you. Someone make that for us, please.
But yeah, go on.
No, that's it. That's all I want to say.
So, my point with this though is that I've touched on this before. Is that all of this has come from microtransactions, and I just wanted to reiterate some a thought process to people about this, because what's happened is people's voices very much in a high Xbox we don't want Connect bundled in with our consoles way. They've made a huge company do a big U-turn. People's voices matter, right? I just want to make your own minds up, but I'm urging people basically to think about this in a logical way and don't have an emotional reaction to something. Don't have your point of view and that's it. Think about things in a logical way, right? So you've got microtransactions and you don't have to buy those microtransactions. If you do, a lot of people say with microtransactions, if it's cosmetic, that's fine. If it affects gameplay, then no. Firstly, those microtransactions are there completely optionally. If they affect gameplay, though, and this is where the main things come up, is that you can buy like extra health, or you can buy this, that, and the other, so that you get a one-up against someone. Well, the thing is that with the microtransactions, you don't know. Like, let's say, for example, I kill you in Star Wars, how are you going to know if I bought or earned that microtransaction?
But the thing is, I'm going to argue a little bit with you there in the fact that characters, okay? So characters and characters ships and what have you.
Yeah.
If you want to play as your favorite character because he's shit, like, I mean, are these loot crates and things, are they obtainable in the game as well, or is it just a quicker way of getting them?
It's all obtainable in the game up till about level 20 something. They're very easily obtainable, and during that time, whether you buy or earn them, every crate is randomized. I think you can get like some hero stuff within certain conditions, but you could buy something and I could unlock something and we could get totally different shit. So I could earn a health bonus that lets me win, and you could have paid for a shitty attachment and you still lose. You don't know if I've earned or bought it. And the biggest point about it is that even, let's say, you buy extra, because after level 20, you're buying stuff because it slows down like the rate that you can earn it. When I go into a game, let's say you've bought Battlefront, you've been playing it for 2 weeks, and I come into it, you've already got more stuff than me. The only time that paying for microtransactions, even if it affects gameplay, is if you're a midnight launch kind of person, and it's that first 24 hours until anyone actually earns some stuff. Because, okay, someone's paid for it, they must have... They're rocking around with all these star cards. They must have bought all that because you couldn't have put enough time in yet. But after 24 hours, give it a week or so, everyone has earned what they've got. They've earned like that chunk of that scraping, that initial layer, if you will, of star cards to give them a range of things that they can go into each game with. You still then have to equip the things that you want to equip. So you could have bought something amazing, but you haven't equipped it that much. And I could have unlocked something crap, and it's still given me the upper advantage because we haven't equipped it when we've run into each other at the same time. So the actual real world impact, if you look at it down that logical route of, okay, what is actually going on here? Okay, I get the fact that you might not like it, and I've run into so many people that are like, oh, it just stinks. Okay, but why does it stink? How does it affect you? What is happening in your games that are the reasons why? Cross-reference of, like, think analytically like that. Why do you have that emotional response to stuff? Why are you causing a fuss on the internet about this stuff? And when you take that sort of mentality, that ABC route forward of, okay, actually, I don't know if you've earned or paid for that. After a certain amount of time, everyone's in the same boat anyway. I don't get what the problem is.
I think the problem is the kid next door to me growing up had the Ghostbusters tower because his family had more money, and I really wanted it, and I hated him because he had it.
Do you think that's the problem?
That's the problem. It's just jealousy. People want those things that other people have, you know?
And the problem with it as well is, this is why it's important. This is why I'm like, not just sat there going, oh yeah, people power, you tell them, you stick it to the man. If you actually look at the impact of it, right, you've got an industry that you've got indie games, you've got AA games, you've got AAAs, which are, you know, your Wolfensteins and your Skyrims and your Fallouts. You've then got what you'd class as your quadruple A's. They are your juggernauts. Your juggernauts. They're the AAAs that are on a completely different level. They are your Call of Duties, your Destinies, your Halo,
FIFA. You know, yeah.
In a way, yes, yeah, but less with that because that's a different investment sort of scenario. With these massive games that are. And a lot of people don't realise this, and this is taking sort of word from do you know who Seamus Blackley is, the creator of the original Xbox?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah,
he's been on loads of podcasts and explained this, and people just seem to forget about it. That it's not always these companies that are providing all of the money to make a game. When you got like, okay, we need however many hundreds of millions to make the Star Wars games. They're not just going, okay, EA, here's your hundreds of millions.
Investors, isn't it?
It's investors. And with those investors, when you are in a climate where you're getting your Titanfalls that are selling fuck all randomly, when you've got, that are almost sure bets because the first ones were such hits, when you've got Call of Duty titles, that juggernaut that is losing a couple of million sales that year, that couple of million sales equates into a lot more actual dollar signs.
But this is where the investors need to do their research and look at what happened to Battlefront 1 and what happens to Infinite War with COD.
This is the thing, though. This is what I'm getting at. Up till now, it's been map packs. If you can't guarantee that return on investment on that initial launch because of just things outside your control, any investment's a risk. It will be, those investors will have it built into the contract. We need some sort of way of near guaranteeing a return if we have a cock up to begin with. And those up till now have been map packs. Map packs don't work because they 50% each time. Every map pack you lose your install base because they go, I ain't got access to it. I'm done. Fuck this. So that's why we've had this rise of microtransactions, because not everyone needs them, but you're keeping 100% of your potential player base, and the people who want to buy them buy loads of them. So it works for your investors. So these AAA things, these quadruple A titles can exist and push forward year on year. That's the industry and how it's built, and that's why we can get these games. If through your self-righteous sort of I haven't looked at this logically sort of mentality of microtransactions stink. Why? Because they just stink, therefore I'm going to join this bandwagon collective of stick it to the man. And you get them to you create this atmosphere where these games can't have a system in place where they can have a return on that investment post-launch. You're fucking the industry up. And I know I'm getting very sort of like into the industry side of it, and it's like we kind of just want to talk about tits and ass, but like, do you know what I mean? Be careful with how you approach things and the way that you look at things. That's all I'm saying.
EA aren't short of money.
No, they're not. But at the same time, they're not going to start turning around and going, "Oh shit, we're 100 million short on here because all the investors are pulling out." We're not going to put that in. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get worse games. Simple. I
agree. I agree that the microtransactions are, but you know, the Ultimate Team on FIFA, for example, right?
Yep.
You know, this does affect gameplay, and people are ignorant to it. Like, I could turn up with my normal team, you know, rocking up my 80s and my high 80s, and then people turn up with fucking Inzaghi and Thierry Henry and fucking David Seaman in goal, you know, and all these amazing players because they've gone out and bought packs. You can't get these players.
But the thing, this is exactly what I'm saying. Okay, what you've just said there makes perfect sense, and that is completely up to, if you want to buy stuff, it's going to give you a completely upper hand, limited to that game mode.
Yeah.
You've got all the other game modes. It's there because it's an extra, a separate game mode that if you want to get into, you can. You've still then got the rest of the game to enjoy, just like you could enjoy it without them. So it's looking at that scenario sort of logically of, oh, is it affecting things, or is it just providing a reason for me to have a whinge about it affecting things? Do you get where I'm coming from?
I think as geeks, nerds, whether it's gaming, comic book, movies, I think it's inbuilt in us just to have a fucking whinge anyway. I think that's all we do.
Anyway, getting off that, because like I say, I want to talk about tits and ass instead of getting like into fucking the way that the industries run and the economics of the situation. But now I think it's just worth pointing out, you don't have to agree with me as well, everyone. You've got to remember that. You're allowed your own personal point of view, but in the same way, form that personal point of view from all the facts and sit back and don't just join a forum and span things without thinking about, oh, what are the consequences? Because it might just bite you in the ass. That's all I'm saying.
And also, just remember, with Battlefront 2, I fucking warned you. I warned you all. So you should listen to me more as well. So, Decade of the Week?
Dickhead of the Week.
Dickhead of the Week!
Dickhead of the Week!
We need some segmental barriers, I think, for this show. Okay. Do you want to go first, or shall I?
I've already been too highbrow. I've got all sciencey shit this week. I'm stepping up my game. I've actually done research and stuff.
Oh, great. That's going to bode well for my Dickhead of the Week. And it's going to shock you, actually, because it's an old household name. Paris Hilton.
We're in 2017, man. You're doing a podcast and including Paris. Fuck off.
Right.
This is a public announcement. I am officially looking for a new podcast co-host. Take over it as main guy because Alex is full of shit thinking that Paris Hilton's relevant.
You'd miss me. Anyway, this fucking cunt. Honestly, I can't stand her. Why is she still? I guess she's super rich and she's got a phone. So, anyway, so she posts a picture on Twitter of her and Britney Spears from 11 years ago, and the comment underneath is 11 years ago, me and Britney invented the selfie. This is what? 11 years ago, so that's 2009. No, fucking dickhead. When's 2008,
6.
2007, 2006? Yeah. Anyway,
Fucking hell.
my maths is shit. Anyway, Twitter went fucking crazy because of this. I mean, what? There's pictures of Bill Nye in 1999 taking a picture on a wind-up on a plane. There's pictures of...
I've actually got one. I could just go straight to the extreme. You know when they had to put drapes over stuff and like wind it up there, and they had to like put it under there for a minute for exposure? There's a famous one of someone doing a selfie through one of those as soon as they were fucking invented. It's just someone was like, "Oh, I wonder what I look like."
And that's what I was going to go to. There was a famous picture that was taken for Thelma and Louise.
Oh.
George Harrison, 1966. Frank Sinatra as a child. There's one here from when the films were first. 1910. 1910. There's a guy taking
There we go. There we go. I bet that
1830, not 1830 fucking 9. Paris Hilton, you little fucker. You are not the be-all and end-all of life, okay? Crawl back under the fucking rock that you've been hiding for the last 10 years and stay there.
I bet you there's some like guy out in the frontiers of the Wild West on his snake oil stall who's just got a selfie somewhere there. There must be. Like, as in when they were getting all invented and stuff. There must be something like that.
It's bullshit. Do you know what I mean?
She's just trying to be
Van
relevant.
Gogh fucking painted himself. That's technically a selfie. You know what I mean? This fucking cunt. Oh my God. The world hasn't heard from me from so many years. What can I say to make me feel so cool? You're not cool. You're a slut. That can't be famous for any other reason that you're rich and you've got a hole between your legs. There you go. Done. Sue me. Moving on. Okay, I haven't had a rant like this in ages. Okay, it's well overdue. Okay, so I'm sorry, feminists out there. You've all got holes between your legs, but I appreciate you guys. It's just I don't like this asshole. That's all. Not the asshole. But anyway, moving on. Your decade of the week, sir.
So in
sorry.
Your decade of the week. So in all our infinite wisdom in the UK, we have now decided that apparently that animals don't have feelings.
Yes,
they can't feel pain or emotion.
What the fuck is this shit?
I can show you fucking scans of animals' brains that have the exact same areas lit up of when we get pricked with a pin. When they get pricked with a pin, they have exactly the same fucking brain chemistry as us. They same... what's the word? Fucking complete hormones and stuff, stress hormones, are released in the same situations as us. Now, obviously, I don't know if you're conscious, Al, because I am not you. I don't know if you're a robot. I don't know if you're a figment of my imagination.
I'm a robot.
But I can pretty much certainly say that you are a sentient being. I'm pretty sure of that. Pretty sure I'm not in the Matrix. Well, I could be. That's a whole different subject. But I'm pretty sure I'm not in the Matrix. I'm pretty sure that you are real and you can feel emotion. And when I tell you...
you're going to feel me. You're going to feel me, bitch.
I do not want to. That is all provable. You can prove it with science. With that little thing called science, that thing that is provable with evidence. Basically, all of our MPs and our politicians, our side of the pond, basically have decided, you know what, because we're now moving away from all the EU legislation, and obviously everything so far goes through Brussels. A lot of our animal welfare legislation is from and through the EU. We can now break free of that, which opens up, basically, it's like with free will presents the ability to be very good or very bad. And this is basically, it's presented people with a blank slate and it's just been taken completely the wrong way. And it's a bunch of Tory cunt fucks who basically want to manipulate the law so that they can get fox hunting back in, you know.
But what is it with rich people wanting to kill things? I don't understand this shit, like.
I don't know. I'm not going to get onto the whole fox hunting element. That's like a satire joke.
fuck them all. Like I want
But-
to get someone that's pro fox hunting on the show, and I want to tear him a new asshole. I'm not up for it. I'm sorry. I'm not having this shit. It's bollocks. It's barbaric, and it shouldn't happen. Like,
But
no way.
even from that, like the whole thing behind it is it affects everything. Like everything that our farming, our laws, you know,
Cosmetics.
Absolutely everything comes down to that one law that we've got. It's Animal Welfare Act 2007. I can say that because I did it at uni because I'm a fucking nerd. Everything comes down to that, and that's all going to go tits up basically. If this is allowed to go too far, it's caught a massive uprising. But it's just shocked me that, like, because it's not a matter of opinion. That's the thing. If this was like MPs decide that God exists, fair enough. It's not disprovable. I don't believe so, but you know what? If you're going to argue it, I can't disprove you. This is fully. Everything's there. There are hundreds of signs.
Ricky Gervais? Ricky Gervais famously come up with a quote that actually kind of proves that God doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Ricky Gervais.
He basically. Oh, go on. Sorry.
No, sorry. I was just going to say. He said that if you take God away, you're still going to come up with in 1,000 years. Take everything away, take science away, take God away. We're still going to come up with the same conclusions scientifically that you would have originally, but you will have different gods. I think that's technically what
God won't be there, but the same science will, basically.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different subject. But like, I just don't get how these people can make those decisions when all of the evidence is categorically there. Like the pain, emotion is you've got pain is the most simple thing to decide.
Like the pain of my ear rolls now.
Yeah, there you go. My dogs are like deciding that they're full of bullshit.
With you.
Then you've got the whole emotional thing, which is I don't know if when I call you a cunt, if you take emotional response to that.
I don't. I'm used to
it. Going back, it's why I said to you at the beginning, there was a purpose to what I said, where I said, I don't know if we're in the Matrix, you're a robot, or whether you're actually, you know that you are you, or whether you're a figment of my imagination. Don't know whether you feel emotions in the same way as me, the same way as I don't know if you know the word yellow is a different colour, because I don't know if you see the same colours, because I am not inside your own head. When I say, oh, you know, when something's yellow, and you're like, yeah, yellow, you could actually be seeing green, but I wouldn't know that you're seeing green because I think green is yellow and you think yellow's green. Crazy fucked up.
No, but that's right.
It makes sense. But you can then fucking scan people's brains and take blood chemistry, and you've got adrenaline, and it's been years since I left uni, so I don't know all the fucking names of all the stress hormones, but you've got all these things that you can measure, and they're exactly the same, so you know that it's logical to assume, because the same areas of the brains exist in animals, that once those hormones are secreted and everything, that it's going to elicit the same emotional response. Sentiency, full sentience, is a matter of debate. One that I would say absolutely they are, but I happily sit here and debate it with someone. But pain and emotion, and not going to that level of full sentiency, absolutely.
And this is a joke as well. We're a country that's developed some of the greatest minds in history. Charles Darwin, Isaac Newton, William Shakespeare. You know, like, what? It's embarrassing. And also, right, I think it plays into sort of what Donald Trump is doing at the moment as well. He's sort of legalized bringing home of elephant trophies. So he's basically legalized elephant hunting again. They're going backwards with their climate control laws and things like that. I just feel like the UK and the US are forming together to create the new order, and they're ready to take over the world.
I think quite the opposite. I reckon at the moment, again, without getting too highbrow and pessimistic about things, like, I just think the Western culture at the moment, the decisions that is being made are just, we're basically inviting ourselves to be overridden by someone who's got makes less sense but have got more conviction. because it's fucked. We're going backwards.
We are, and it's all because everything's money driven now. There's always a corporation or a business or some model somewhere that needs help from the government to favour their advances, and that's what's happening with Donald Trump. Certainly, I mean, the whole reason he wants to backpedal with the whole climate control things is so he can pump more fumes into the atmosphere. Make more money. Him and his fucking cronies.
You kind of hit the nail on the head with like the whole money thing. Like, I just want to bring up something we were discussing before the podcast, because you said about money, and how if there's no money in it, it doesn't get brought to light properly. I was just before the podcast listening to a couple of weeks old Joe Rogan podcast, and he had a guy on there.
Hey, Joe.
And basically, this guy was approached by the Star Trek writers about his work that he does with fungi and mushrooms, basically. And what was the word that it was called again?
It's the spore drive. By the way, the new Star Trek's amazing. It's magical. You need to watch it.
Yeah.
Crack on.
Spore
drive.
Yeah, there was an actual word in there, basically the fancy word for like psychedelic mushrooms and the networks that they can create. Basically, there's, and this is all factual. This isn't like bullshit. The extent that it can be taken have to be taken with a pinch of salt, but the basis is all there. Basically, he was saying about how sort of 30% of all of like the soil substrate on Earth is fungal matter, and it's locally all linked. Like, imagine the Avatar tree, basically. It's all linked like that, where it's potentially a conscious sentient thing, with the way that it almost a parallel to a human mind. So that the potential is there. In the same, again, using the same example, you don't know because you can't step into its shoes, so it sounds completely preposterous, but it could completely viably, and I'm not going to explain it because I completely do it an injustice, but go back and watch it. It's Paul something or other on Joe Rogan's podcast. Go and watch that. I think I'll put the link in here as well. Go and watch that. It's 2 hours of something that's absolutely amazing. Anyway,
and Joe Rogan's like, sorry, go on.
He gets into all this mushroom stuff, and basically certain species of mushrooms that give you these psychedelic just experiences. They have all of these, not just medicinal benefits like marijuana is good for arthritis. We're talking like completely reduces and reverses dementia even after its onset. Like, absolutely insane levels of medicinal properties to, like, because it basically I think the way I described it to you before the podcast was, you've got a broken TV, you think, oh shit, this is too complicated, what do I do? But you take the back off, there's just a bit of solder that's come off because it's overheated. You resolder that, and the connection's made again, and that's what it does to your synapses in your brain, because it just fires everything off. But because there's no money in it, because it's not patentable, there's no businesses getting behind it. Therefore, it's not being turned into what, in air quotes, a drug. It's not medicinal. Yeah. It's hippy dippy shit still, because there's no money to be made. So yeah. I just wanted to bring that up because you just made the comment, and I just thought. On
the flip side of that as well is they release something that would have to be cheap or free. I mean, they could charge money for the development of the things, but obviously with a patent, they're going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, on the flip side of that, it would take away the funds for the medication they already use for dementia and cancer and things like that. So it would also drain that fund as well. So.
Exactly. I mean, I literally, as soon as this is done, go and watch that podcast. It was fucking. I was just spellbound by literally just 2 hours of, oh my goodness, that was so interesting. So yeah, I'll put a link up to that anyway. But getting back on track, that was.
I was just. Have we got time to do a hero of the week? I've got a guy I love.
Yeah, go on. We said we'd do a bumper one, so do it.
This guy called Digit Davis, he's on. I'm going to definitely 100% after I finish recording this, I'm going to put the link up. This guy is a fucking legend. Okay, so this guy did the impossible. He basically he fucking he was disguised as an electrician and managed to sneak into the Babe Station house. It's amazing. He was just like, I'm from Cybertech and I'm here to sort your wiring out and stuff. And they're like, okay, come on in. So he walks in with a ladder with a high-vis jacket. And you see him. He walks past all the different rooms where the girls are all shaking their asses and stuff like that. He's just like, oh my God, I'm in. And he takes, those plastic things you'd throw at a wall as a kid and they'd stick and then they'd fall down.
Yeah,
like
I think so.
And stuff.
Yeah.
He'd just sneak up. And while the girls are like shaking their thing, he'd just throw one at a girl's ass and it'd hit her in the ass and she'd be like, what? And you could see the live footage from the TV. Somebody sat there and recorded it. And you can see he does it to like 3 different girls. It's amazing. And then he just runs out of the building, bails on the ladder. And I just thought this guy had just made me laugh so much at something that I didn't think would be funny. But oh my God, what a genius. So Digit Davis, man, what a fucking legend.
That's wicked. I love the fact that he's called Digit Davis as well.
I don't know his actual name. I'm gonna hit him up, see if I can get him to give us something. Anyway, yeah, great. Love that guy. So yeah, now it's time.
Hang on.
Superhero Barfight! I was going all in on that and then bail at the last minute. We need a fucking... I'm going to make one tonight. Fuck it. Okay. Yeah, Superhero Barfight. We thought we'd bring... Because we were a week off, we thought we'd bring you a beast. And it ties in with Justice League movies. So we've gone for...
Superman
versus The Flash. And this, for me, James, I wanted Harry Potter versus, did they say Harry Potter versus Superman? But no, we thought we'd stick with the Justice League thing. And it's a tough one for me because Flash is a very, he's almost second to Batman, I suppose, to me. So let's break it down. Okay. They're in a bar.
Yep. As always.
Both trying to get drunk and they can't get drunk because their metabolism's just too much for it. And Superman's like, you know what? I'm faster than you because I believe in justice. And Flash is like, do you know what? You put so much effort into fighting people. I just run around and push people. I know I'm quicker. So they're like, anyway, they're beefing about it. Lois Lane's like, oh, Clark, calm down. Iris West is like, oh my God, Barry.
I think they'd be the opposite. I think they'd be at the entrance, like in cheerleader costumes, going B-A-R-R-Y. What does that give you, Barry? It's Barry.
Yeah, you called that one. Yeah, so that's great. But I'm not talking about a race because I know for a fact it's been proven as well that Superman is massively faster than Superman. There's a scene from did I put that on the? I found a picture of basically they're mid race and Superman's looking at the Flash and he's saying, "Listen, I've beat you before, and I'll beat you again." And he goes, "Yeah, but Clark, that was for charity." And this is mid race, and the Flash is boom, he's gone. He's literally just gone. Like he literally leaves him for dust. There have been comic book stories in the past where they've done races and things, and they've tied. One of them was for charity, and they tied because they didn't want to make people feel bad. Oh, no, it was to do with black market gamblers. They didn't want the black market gamblers to earn off him, so they both came as a tie. And there's been all sorts of really difficultly narrative stories written about their races, and it's always been like a draw. But later on in the Flash's life, he becomes so powerful. He can go back in time. He can change the whole universe. He works in attoseconds. Did you see that thing I put up about attoseconds and how they work?
Yeah, but that's like so stupid though. That's like, do you
Not.
know what that was? Yeah, I get that. I get that. But you know what that is? That is a typical, I'm writing a comic book. I want to make my character so overpowered that I need to research the smallest figure of time possible. Like, there's nothing wrong with just being a little bit faster than you can see. That's all I'm saying. Still pretty fast.
Superman can fly at the speed of light. But the Flash can fly. Well, he can run so fast, he goes back in time. He breaks the time barrier. and every time we bring Flash up into these things, and also Flash is one of the only people to full out punch Superman and hurt him because he's that fast.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he actually could hurt Superman. The two versions that I'd like to go against each other, though, are they've just brought Superman back from the dead, and the Flash is running around the side of him, and Superman clocks him while he's in that little warpy world, and makes him trip over. That's the kind of a la Justice League. That's the kind of version that
young Barry Allen, he's getting faster and faster every time. The Barry Allen that actually resets the DC timeline is the ultimate Flash. He is the fastest. Like, they call him the fastest man on Earth, and everybody's like, yeah, but Reverse Flash is faster, Savitar's faster, and all this sort of stuff. But like that point, he is the fastest, and he is the pinnacle. He is his time. He is the end of time. He is the beginning of time. He creates himself. That is at that point, he is the fastest thing on the planet. And yeah, I think the only time I think Superman would win is the red-eyed, frenzied Superman that would just literally pick up the bar and flatten the Flash with it and just keep throwing shit at him and not stop. And he's got lasers and the fucking ice. Everything's just all going at the same time, and he's just trying to fuck. I think Flash would struggle then, because once he's on his ass, the Flash does get hurt. He regenerates because he rebuilds his broken bones and what have you. So on that circumstance, I think the Flash would struggle, but I think he'd still overcome him. I think he'd double back, gather up some energy, and just hit him with an atomic punch, knock him straight on his ass.
Yeah, I think that the Flash is I say the only person. There are other people, obviously, but just the people that come straight to mind, the headliners, if you will, the only one that can take out Superman that way. Yeah, I think he'd go to the other side of the coast and just take a big run up and just right round his temple and just punch him around the world.
I think what he could do is he could take Clark, take him back in time against the wall, grab teenage Martha, fuck her and be like, Martha! And then Superman would be destroyed for life then, and he'd just fuck the shit out of Martha Wayne. But no, where's Bruce now, bitch? No, I think Superman can fly. I don't think. I know he can.
I think Superman can fly. No shit.
Superman can fly, so the Flash can't. So he could just fly up in the sky and try and hit him with lasers, but he'd probably just run out of steam before.
You know what though? This is what I don't get. If you're going that fast, all you need to do is literally just jump, and it's like the Hulk then. Like the Hulk can pretty much jump as far as he wants to, because he could just kick off with as much power as he needs to. So the Flash could kind of do the same.
And the Flash also, he can penetrate Superman. I think there was somebody gone into depth about this and worked out that when Flash vibrates his hand and stuff, he can penetrate anything. He's literally going in between molecules. So it doesn't matter if you're made of if you're adamantium, if you're Wolverine, it doesn't matter if you're the strongest metal. He's going to go in between the molecules, and on a molecular level, it doesn't matter what it's made of. He's still coming through you, bitch. Right? So he could pull out fucking Superman's heart if he wanted to. The only thing is Barry Allen isn't the type of guy to do that sort of thing,
Yeah, the problem is going into like the Justice League scene where he's running around the side of him, Superman clocks him. All he'd have to do is put his arm out. And this is the thing. If you're going that fast, you can punch hard. But if every action has a reaction. If you get clocked going that fast, you're fucking smush.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But at the same time, like, you'd think that Barry Allen running at Clark Kent Superman and punching him in the face, you'd think that same thing, that punching Superman at that force with that fist would do the same sort of thing to his arm. Do you know what I mean? He'd bounce back off him, but he does. He's the first person to proper give. I think he gives him a black eye or something. I'll have to go back and look at that. But
yeah, I think what we'd have is maybe the Flash beating the shit out of him until Superman can grab him, and after that point, I think it'll be all over.
And Superman can freeze him as well, can't he? Let's not forget that. But I just think he'd be too fast. He'd just be too fast. I mean,
yeah,
just run circles around him. He can create tornadoes. He can create lightning flashes. He can do all sorts of flash can. He's overpowered to shit. And it's kind of a joke, really, because Jay Garrick was, as the Flash in the original days, was always, the Mickey taken out of him. He's a guy that can run fast. Yay! Yeah. So they just decided what can physically, in the laws of physics, what could we do with Flash to make him powerful? And it is clever because with friction, you could create an electric bolt. With waving your arms around at a specific speed for so long, you could create a fucking tornado, But Superman could just pick up a gas truck and throw it at him.
Yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, you fucking trolled me the other week and said, wouldn't whoever it was just move out of the way? Flash could just move out of the way. I think we'd have... The only thing that could settle this is if Goku turned up.
Oh, fuck off with your Goku shit, like.
No, literally, just to distract someone. Literally.
Look at that guy's hair.
Nah, I reckon if we're going with like young Flash, then Superman would... He'd last long enough to grab hold of him, but I think Flash might be the winner.
Yeah. No, not at all. I don't think so. I just think it would be harder for the Flash. I don't think he would lose. I think a younger Flash would still beat Superman because instinctively, what do you do when someone attacks you? You run away. You create a plan and then you go back. And Barry Allen, I think, would go away, assess the situation, and come back and hit him. He can the force he hits things at an atomic punch is unbelievable. He would shatter Superman's jaw with a correctly timed punch. And like a kryptonite with a broken jaw is still a kryptonite with a broken jaw. There's no heal in that.
Yeah.
There's no heal in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose he's only strong because he comes from a planet with, well, yes, he's got laser eyes and freeze breath. And
he's only strong because nobody can penetrate him or nobody can break his bones. But once his bones are broken, they're still fucking broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just... I don't believe Superman. And the thing is, they're both honorable characters, aren't they? They're not going to go dirty. They're not going to, like I said, the Flash isn't going to reach a red-eyed, frenzied Superman would. He has done in the past. Like the Man of Steel scene where he just fucking straight up snaps Zod's head, and that's a furied, frenzied Superman. And he's capable of doing stuff like that. And that's the only time I said I think he would beat Flash. But you have to do something really fucking bad to get him in that position. And that's the only time. That's one of the times Batman has beat Superman. He threw fucking Lois Lane off a skyscraper and he snapped him out of it, because it kind of brought him back to his senses. Yeah, Flash all the way. I mean, we've got a few listeners. I've got a few people that do actually message me after the show and tell me what they think. So Ryan from Sketchy Connection, he always messages me. What do you think? What do you guys think? Who would win? I would genuinely like to hear your thoughts.
Do you know how I think Flash would win? He'd take a run up. Superman would be mid-swing, but it'd be like dodging an old age pensioner. And as he ducked underneath, he'd grab his cape. He'd continue to pull his cape as he carried on forward, and he'd just behead him with his own cape.
Yeah. Okay, that's settled. And then he goes back and fucks Martha.
No.
Just for the shit of it.
No, he fucks his neck hole.
Oh, yeah. Iris just standing there like, what the fuck am I seeing?
This went south quickly.
And also, like, the Flash from the TV series would no way stand a chance against Superman. They're too fucking analytic. They're too fucking... They'd spend a whole fucking hour deciding on how to move faster, never mind attacking. Like,
oh, can you imagine the Flash from the Flash film TV versus Smallville Superman? It would just it would be like a rom-com.
It would. I love you, Clark. I love you too, Barry. Well, I'm your best friend. Just do it already. Just do it. He's dead. And then another 4 follow episodes of organ music and funerals and Barry feeling sorry for himself, because that's all those shows are, really.
Yeah.
Feel sorry for me.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
But anyway, should we get the fuck out of here?
We should. Also, can I just add on the end? Have you ever watched Black Mirror?
No.
You really should. There's a new season coming out. If you've never watched Black Mirror, can I just really say that if you watched one of those episodes, you would be absolutely hooked. They're all individual stories. They don't run in series, and they are written to absolute perfection. I'm going to go back and watch them. I am, because they are that worth it. Honestly, if you ever do sit, but I'm not going to go on a Rick and Morty tangent and say, "Oh, you got to fucking watch it." I'm going to say, actually, do you know what? You deserve to watch it because you will absolutely enjoy it. They get some of the biggest stars to star in these, and they're all fucked and they're strange but brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to watch the new season when it comes out, and I'll definitely review that. But I want to review it with you, so try and watch it. You'll be happy if you do. It's something you can sit down with your missus and watch.
Yeah,
she'll enjoy it. Yeah, so do that.
Cool. Well, if you like the video, the podcast, give us a like. You begging for some likes? I need those thumbs up to make me feel good about myself on a Monday evening. I like to see those come in. Like voting stations and stuff. I'd just sit there each week, give it some time for people to watch it, and then I'm like, how many thumbs up we got, Al? My life's worth nothing without a good thumbs up.
If we get 10 thumbs up, I'll
He'll show you his cock. Don't do it. He's done it
record
before.
Jimmy doing. No, we'll record you doing the "Bird is the Word" dance and singing it.
Bird is a word. A word, a bird, bird, bird. Bird is a word.
We'll get it animated by Sketchy Connection, and we'll throw it up.
Yeah, but no, seriously. If you do, if you're enjoying shit, do us a favor. Copy the link and just share it and send it to a friend and get us some more people on board, and let's grow it, because we want some more people in. We feel lonely here.
We do.
We've got no friends. But no,
I've set up a couple of good opportunities for us, but that's up and coming. But we need your love. We
need your love, and you're always loving people. So yeah, no, it's been good. Thanks for
listening, guys.
Coming in.
Thors-Kin out.
See you later, bitches. You know what?
Yay.
I should probably stop calling people bitches. That might help.
No, we shouldn't. That's part of our thing.